Dziękuję bardzo. Right. The safest thing you can do is take risks. The riskiest thing you can do is to play it safe. I love this phrase by Seth Godin because it clearly shows what is our reality today. We live in a world that you need to be able to take risks, and whether or not you're able to do it, it plays a big, big role in your success as a business or as an entrepreneur. Because think about it, you are where you are not because of luck. You are where you are because you took risks others were not willing to take. You made that phone call, you went to the meeting, you did it. And that's, at the end of the day, what has the impact in your career. Now, when I'm talking about risk, I'm not talking about doing crazy things. I'm not talking about doing something that potentially could harm you. I'm talking about being willing to experiment, to try new things, to go for it, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to build your business. And talking about building your business, something very interesting is that life's best lessons come from very unusual places. Actually, one of the places where I have found great, great lessons from the point of view of risk-taking is the circus. When you look at the acrobats performing incredible tricks and, work that requires a lot of work and a lot of effort, it's really interesting to look and see the connection with the world of business. Actually, from the point of view of acrobatics, my favorite acrobats are the flying trapeze artists. Think about it, up in the air, jumping, performing tricks that require precision and strength and a lot of commitment. And when you look at how flying trapeze works, you really understand the impact that they could have when we're talking about taking risks. Here you can see more or less how it works. The flyer takes off from the platform, swings, works out the speed so it can get really high, lets go, performs the trick. It can involve flipping and twisting, or flipping and twisting, like here. Boom, catch. Then they swing together, come back to the platform. How cool is that? I mean, it's really cool. And when you think about flying trapeze, you can see that taking risk is the most important, the ability to take risks is the most important part if you want to be successful as a flying trapeze artist. And I don't know if it's a good idea that I'm showing you these pictures. Because actually, that guy over there, that's me. Yeah, that guy with the white tights. Yeah, you gotta love the white tights. Yeah. So that's why, especially for you today, I have my white tie. No, just kidding. No. Yeah, breaking news, Infoshare. Now, what I wanted to do today is I wanted to share with you 7 factors that I learned from the time when I was back many years ago, a flying trapeze artist. And if you're wondering why 7, is because, well, it's a nice number. And second, because when you put them all together, they form the word trapeze. You see what I did there? Smart. Anyway, they are timing, resilience, aggressive, practice, execution, zero in, and experience. And I want to go about each of them individually. Talking about timing. Timing is everything on the flying trapeze. If you take off from the platform a second late, or the catcher is a second later, or a second later, there's no trick. You're going to fail. So timing is crucial if you are performing on the flying trapeze. Interestingly enough, timing is also everything in the world of business. And a good way to look at it, last year I remember Bill Gross, he's a very famous venture capitalist, he gave a presentation at TED in which he explained what he wanted to find out what were the crucial elements for success for a startup. And after doing some work, he realized that there are 5 factors. This is according to Bill Gross. According to him, it's all about ideas, team, business model, funding, and timing. Now, he wanted to know how, which one of these was the most crucial for a startup. And what he did is he made a research and he looked at 200 companies, 100 big success companies, and 100 that were a total failure. And basically what he did is he looked at these parameters, these 5 elements, and he measured them accordingly for each of those companies. And after crunching all the numbers, he found out that the #1 factor in success across more than 200 companies was timing. So we need to understand this, because if let's say you have a great idea, but the technology is not there yet, chances are that you're going to fail. Or maybe the technology is there and your idea is great, but maybe the consumers are not ready for that. So when you are thinking about your business ideas, you need to understand if it's the right timing for that product or service. And you need to be able to answer the question, why now? Why now? Why now is a good time to sit down with you and to talk about your idea? Why now, if I'm an investor, I should put money into your startup? And what you need to be able to do is show that, taking into consideration the social forces, the economic forces, and the technological forces, everything shows that this is the right time and the best place for you to go for this specific idea. So think about that when you are talking with investors, when you're pitching. Show me why now. Why now is the right time for you? Point number 2, resilience. When you're doing flying trapeze, when you start trying different tricks, at the beginning everything is cool. You learn one trick, kind of simple, it goes well, then you do the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and life is good. Until you get to a point that you go a trick that is too difficult or too hard, and you start missing the trick. And I see that the same is in business. Very often when I meet startups, entrepreneurs, founders, right at the beginning, when they start the business, it's fun, and you're excited. And you go to work, and your team is ready, and it's a lot of fun, and it's awesome. And this is what I call the honeymoon period, when everything is fun and cool, and you love it, and it's exciting, and you're going to change the world, right? Until you fail, until something happens, until you get to a point where everything is going fine, and things no longer work. And this is the moment when often entrepreneurs or founders start losing the energy and the resilience to keep going. As Anthony Chiang once said, entrepreneurship is a lonely endeavor marked by repeated rejection and failure. Business leaders who persevere recognize a core paradox in the journey of business building: the balance between refusing to accept failure and embracing it when it happens. I have breaking news for you guys. You are going to fail. And it's okay, because failure is part of the game. Failure is not an option, but actually it's a reality. The question is, once you fail, what do you do? How do you react? Do you get all depressed and start complaining and start, being in a bad mood and start being actually really, really horrible to hang out with? Or do you actually look at the right side and understand what can you do, what can you learn from that failure? Jocko Willink says, when things are going bad, there is going to be some good that's going to come from it. So, you prepare a presentation, you give your pitch, and you don't get funding. Good. Let's work on our presentation and let's try to make it better. You call the prospect, you give him a very good presentation, he tells you that he is not interested. Good. Let's find out who is our perfect target, who can really need our services, instead of just complaining that, well, the leads are bad, blah, blah, blah. Do something about it. Always try to have the right attitude when things go wrong, because things are going to go wrong. How you react is what makes the difference. So when things are going bad, don't get all bummed out. Don't get frustrated. Get up, do stuff, reload, and go on the attack. Which leads me to my next point. Aggressive, or aggressiveness. When you stand on that platform and you're going to take off, you need to be 100% committed and ready to go. You cannot, go there and sort of want to do it. Because if you are not 100, I don't know, maybe I should take a swing, I don't know. If you do that, you are going to miss the trick, and chances are that you are going to get hurt, or somebody else. And it's exactly the same thing in business. And don't get me wrong, when I'm talking about being aggressive, I'm not talking about being a bully, or pushy, or creating conflict. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, it's about the will to win. Aggression is the unstoppable fighting spirit, the drive to use every possible tool, every asset, every strategy, every tactic, so you're able to succeed. That's what I'm talking about. Having this fire that you are going to go 100% for it. And aggressive should be your default mode. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are building a business, you should be 100% committed the whole time. If you have a phone call, you are not just wondering, waiting, maybe I should make the phone call, maybe not, I don't know, okay, I'll call later. No, grab the phone and call, because that's what is going to get results, actually going for it. And this should be your default mode. So when you see an opportunity, don't be passive, don't just wait, but aggressively and decisively go for it. That's what it takes. So don't wait for things to happen. You need to go and make them happen. Be aggressive. And here's another thing. You don't have time. There is so much competition that if you wait too long, somebody else is going to come and is going to do it. Today, your biggest competition is speed. So you need to be decisive, and you need to move fast, and you need to be committed. Because I have news for you guys. In this world, you don't get what you want. You don't get what you think you deserve. You get what you're committed to. Let's talk about sales. Do you realize that one day of your week is 20% of your sales week? So if you decide to take it easy, to chill out for one day, you're missing 20% of your time. 2 sales days are 10% of your month. So it's enough that you take it easy for 2 days. Literally, you could lose a full month of sales each year. You need to be committed. You need to understand that there is no time. In average, you have about 21 sales days per month. That's about 63 days per quarter. And I know sales sometimes is not sexy, and you'd rather, I'm checking, I'm posting on Facebook, I'm doing social media. And that's not going to bring your business to the next level. So you need to be committed, and you need it really to go for it. Next, practice. When I started the Flying Trapeze, I didn't start it, I was not a 3-year-old kid, a gymnast, and doing sports my whole time and doing acrobatics. I started when I was in my 20s. And the reason why I managed to get to a level that I was actually a professional trapeze artist is because every single day, 6-7 days a week, I was practicing. I was on the trampoline, I was up in the trapeze, all the time, working. And that's what it takes if you want to be able to succeed when you're building your business. Because the reality is that the key to expert performance is deliberate practice, even more than natural talent. So if you really want to be able to succeed in whatever it is that you want to do, you need to put the work. And unfortunately, time and time again, I see a lot of entrepreneurs making the mistake of winging it. They make the research, they make the presentation, and then they go directly to the investor or the client or whatever, and they just try to give the presentation and let's see what happens. And then, surprise, they lose. You need to practice. You need to practice for when things go wrong. Practice, an interaction with a customer. Practice what happens if they do this, what happens if they do that. Try different scenarios. That's what is going to get you ready. Because otherwise, you're going to get caught off by surprise. So don't be upset by the results you didn't get with the work you didn't do. If you fail because you didn't put up the work, okay, be aware of it and do something about it. Because that's what is going to make the difference afterwards. Execution. This picture is a picture of a very spectacular trick called the passing lip. This is a trick that every single flying trapeze artist dreams about doing. It's a very spectacular trick, and it's actually a very complex trick because, as you can see, there is not one trapeze flyer in the air, but actually there is two. And I see your faces, you're like wondering, what the hell is that? Just to give an explanation, first the lady, she swings, and the catcher catch her by her legs, and she lets go. So then she swings together with the lady, which she's just holding with her toes. And at the same time, in the other platform, the second flyer gets on top of the bar, and when they approach the middle, that's when this happens. The one flyer going under, and the second flyer going over. This requires perfect timing, perfect collaboration between every single member of the team. And to tell you the truth, I dreamed for many, many years about being able to do this trick. But you know what I did? We didn't sit down and thought about it. We didn't sit down and discuss how it works or try to analyze the theory of how this fantastic trick happens. What we did is we went every single day to the trapeze and we try, and we try, and we try. We made it happen. And actually, this is a photo of the first time I caught this trick. And this is a very special moment for me because it really shows what it requires and what it takes to actually accomplish whatever it is that you want to do. So when you're talking about your ideas, it's not about ideas. It's about making ideas happen. It's about getting your hands dirty and actually putting the hard work so you make those ideas something real. Time and time again, I talk with entrepreneurs that have great ideas. And 6 months later, I see them at another event or another conference, and I ask them, how's it going? Did you do it? Oh, well, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still researching. I don't know. Yeah, it's a fantastic idea. It's a disruption. I love that word. It's a disruptive idea. And they do nothing with it. So you need to make it happen. And when it happens that you have a lot of ideas, you need to be able to prioritize and execute. How many of you have many ideas at once? All of you, exactly. Now the secret is, instead of having 10 ideas and doing nothing with them, you need to prioritize. You need to identify what are the 1 or 2 or 3 ideas that you need to focus on. Which leads me to my next factor, which is zero in. In other words, focus. When I am in the flying trapeze, I am 100% focused on the flyer. I'm not wondering what I'm going to do later. I don't think about, something that is happening somewhere else. I don't think about the music. I don't think about what I'm going to do the next day or what I'm having for breakfast. My entire attention is on that flyer. Why? Because if for 1 second I do not keep my attention on him, he is going to get hurt. And it's exactly the same thing when you are working on your business or when you're working in your different ideas. Because unfortunately, it's not that we have too little time to do all the things we need to do, but it's that we feel the need to do too many things in the time we have. We live in a world in which being busy is kind of cool. How many of you are expert multitaskers? And you do it, you say it with pride, right? I'm great at multitasking. But in reality, you are wasting your energy by putting too many things at once. So you need to be able to understand that juggling many projects and juggling different companies and juggling different things is not the best way to do it. Because actually, juggling is an illusion. When you see somebody juggling, you have the impression that a lot of things are happening and the guy is doing so many things. Actually, let me show you. When I'm juggling, it looks like I'm doing a lot of things, right? In reality, all the thing that I'm doing is one thing. I'm throwing and I'm catching. That's it. I throw and I catch. Of course, you do it a little bit faster. That's another. But that's what it is. It's an illusion. I am not dealing with many things at once. I'm doing one thing. Kind of fast, but I'm doing one thing. That's it. So focus on the one thing that is going to help you go forward. Stop wasting energy doing many things at once. Which leads me to the last point, experience. How many of you have gone to the circus, to a circus show? Let's say Cirque du Soleil. How many of you know about Cirque du Soleil? Fantastic experience, right? Now, that show is a fantastic experience because every single performance, there is a flow. They make the effort to try to make every single number, every single interaction with the audience a valuable experience. It's not about position, 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 and then the show is over. Everything happens for a reason. Every single thing is planned and practiced and rehearsed. It's not a bunch of tricks put together, but it's a performance. And that's exactly what you need to do when you are out there, marketing or promoting your business or your products or your services. It's not about just putting the product out there and let's see what happens. It's about understanding your customer and understanding that every single interaction your customer has with your product or service has an impact on the perception that they have of your brand. And to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, I wanted to talk about a company called Virgin America. How many of you had the opportunity to fly with them? Not somebody in the back, not that many people. Virgin America is a company, it's an airline that is very successful from the point of view of customer satisfaction. And the reason why they are so successful is not because they have an app, which they do, and it's really nice, and very, very good user experience, and it's fantastic. But that's not why they are successful. They are not successful because they have really cool cabins that look like out of Star Trek, which they do. Look at that. Cool. The reason why they are so successful and the reason why they have such a high level of customer satisfaction is because they truly understand their passengers. And what they did some time ago, they created something called the VX passenger experience. It's a little bit small, you're not going to be able to read that. But basically what it shows is they created an entire map. They mapped the entire journey from the moment that a passenger is planning a trip to the moment it's on the ground after landing. And they look at every single point and at every single interaction. And then proactively, they think, okay, what are the possibilities that here, at this specific point, there is going to be either a positive or a negative emotion? And what can we do to have an influence on that emotion? So if, let's say, you're going through security and there is a very long line, there is the possibility of having a negative emotion, right? You're standing over there waiting and you're in a rush and you're doing something. They proactively thought, okay, what can we do to make the experience better? What can we do so if you are in a rush, maybe you can go faster? Or if you have children around, maybe we can put a little playground area so while you're waiting, at least the kids are having fun. And this is the thinking that is required today. You really need to understand your customers' needs, wants, and behaviors. Forget about technology. Technology comes later. It's all about customer needs, wants, and behaviors. So there you have them. Timing, resilience, aggressiveness, practice, execution, zero in or focus, and experience. And now the question is, what are you going to do about it? This is your choice. We are at the inspire stage. I hope I managed to give you a little bit of inspiration. The question is, what are you going to do with this inspiration? Are you going to be inspired for a couple of days and then you go back to work and everything is going to be the same thing? Or are you actually going to go from knowing about things and start doing them? Because at this place, you're getting so many great speakers sharing a lot of ideas and a lot of methodologies and tactics and strategy. And the problem is that often you sit down over there, you watch the show, it's great, it's awesome, you go back home and you do nothing about it. So I ask you to please move from just simply knowing about what you need to do to actually doing it. Because opportunities don't happen. You create them. And before I go, in the world of flying trapeze, we don't say good luck or all best or, you go. The way we, in this world, kind of like wish us the best, we say fly high. Because when you fly high is when you know that you're going to be able to accomplish your objectives. So today, I want to thank you very much for coming, and I want to wish you to fly high. Thank you very much.